Line up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
The Money Line is live, episode number 20. I am here with my guy, Mike Finch. Mike, how you doing, my brother? Good to see you back.
Good to see me back. That's exactly right, because I've been gone, ladies and gentlemen. I've been good. I've been chilling in Hawaii, eating whatever I want, doing whatever I want. I missed you guys last week. I was on a waterfall hike with no service, covered in just rainforest. It was just every 30 minutes, just rain on us, and it was muddy head to toe and having a wonderful time. So sorry I didn't get to see you guys last week. I'm glad Sergio Pettis stopped in. That's awesome. And we're back again on the horse. AJ, do you know what episode this is?
Episode 20, baby. Episode 20.
Goodness. 20 episodes. We're glad to still be here with you guys.
Yeah, fuck yeah, bro. It's pretty wild, right? We already got 20 like quick, man. It just flew by. We're already here, man. And you know what? What better way to do episode 20 than a pay-per-view card? I feel like it just works out that way.
This is a good one, man. Top to bottom. This one was fun to get ready for, AJ. Is it like a lot of exciting fights on this one, right?
Yeah, bro. I feel like wars. And you're going to see me excited as hell, bro. Mike, I got to bring up the chat. I didn't say nothing. This is what one of the people in the chat said. We got to talk Lemos and Andrade, our head-to-head, bro. We got to talk about it. Mike, I got to brag to you this week just because you got that Bilal Muhammad one a couple weeks back, bro. That was, I'll be honest with you, Mike, as that fight was happening, Lemos from range was looking pretty good, and I was just sitting there like, don't fucking tell. I was like, oh, fuck. And then I was like, all right, we locked up the sub, but like such an unexpected way to win. Like, who's predicting you're going to win by arm triangle standing? Like, come on, nobody's predicting that. Very
rare one. Yeah, it reminded me of Jessica I back in the Invicta days. She got a standing head and arm choke, and just Jessica Andrade is just what's the snake that wraps around you and squeeze you?
Is that the python or the boa constrictor?
Somebody at home is like, how dare these guys? Okay. I think boa constrictor, right? Yeah. She wrapped around her, and just the ability for Andrade to be able to squeeze the blood from going to Lemos's brain. It was really spectacular. I'm still a Lemos fan. I still think she has quite a future, but I did underestimate Andrade, man. Andrade came out guns a-blazing and was able to get a hold of her. Look, I think at range she has trouble with Lemos, but if she can get a hold of her and do that, it doesn't matter.
I feel like Andrade now sets herself up really well, because you look at the main event this weekend, I feel like Andrade having a win over both girls is a huge factor, bro. I mean, she lost the rematch to Rose, but she got a win over Esparza. I like the chances, man. I don't know. I think there's Andrade fighting for a title in 2023 is highly likely, in my opinion, man, especially after beating Lemos the way she did.
It was a big fight. I think it was a title eliminator fight. But, I got to be honest, the fight I'm most looking forward to is Cookie Monster versus Rose in that division. It's just the right fight, the right time. Cookie Monster wants to go get, her honeymoon and get married after this. So she's going to have to really enter a war before she does all that, man. This is going to be a wild one.
Yeah, bro. Great card. We're going to get right into it. Guys, smash the hell out of the like button. Show some love to the Money Line. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Keep it locked in here, right, at MMA Experts, episode 20 with my guy, Mike Finch. We'll start it off with Journey Newsom and Fernie Garcia. Mike, you weren't here last week, so I'm going to give you the floor to give us the Mike Finch breakdown to start it off.
Look, this is a tough one to pick. I think that, you can walk Fernie Garcia down a bit, and that's a problem when we're talking decisions. You don't want to see a guy always backing up, always having to fight off of the back foot. With that being said, Newson is a little available to be hit. You guys remember the Randy Costa, he threw the cross down the pipe, And when Newson slipped his head on the outside, boom, came up with that head kick. That reminds you of Israel Adesanya, Derek Brunson. That's exactly how Izzy sets it up. You can kind of time Newson and get him to go where you want him to be. That's a dangerous thing against Garcia. Dana White called him a powerful counter puncher. He did show that big overhand right in order to get his UFC contract. I think that might come through for him. I'm tentative on this one. I'm not betting on it, but I'm going to go Garcia.
Okay. We're starting it off right, bro. I'm on the opposite side. Journey Newsom for the win. I do feel like Garcia, I feel like he's going to go long. We're looking at the knockout on the Contender Series, but he's a guy that's gone long a lot in recent bouts before then. He definitely has a decent stand-up game. I think sitting and striking with Newsom, I feel like there's more power on the Newsom side, but I guess we kind of have to worry. We saw the bad knockout loss, but I went back and I watched the Ricardo Ramos fight. And I mean, Newsom didn't look great. Ramos, long guy, tricky from range with the kickboxing, but I still kind of liked what I saw. He's not a chinny guy. I feel like, a lot of people, they see a guy get knocked out in sub 1 minute and it's, right away, he's got no chin. He takes a good shot. It's a perfect technique landed. I think we're going distance here. So I'm glad we agree on that. I'm going the way of Journey. I do think he's going to find some success in the close range with the boxing. And I feel like he gets a competitive decision win, but I'm kind of with you. It's not like my favorite pick of the night or anything like that. I feel like it's a toss-up matchup. As far as the lines, though, I got to give you guys the odds here. I know Journey is an underdog by a bit, but not super wide. He's plus 128 as a dog. Fernie Garcia, minus 136. I love the name crossover here. Fernie versus Journey. Starting it off. UFC 274.
Only here on Moneyline, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good one. Look, it's a tough fight to bet on. I don't think either of us are telling people to throw cash at this one. No,
I'm really not. I mean, it's lower. It's not low level, but it's lower tier of the UFC. And I think it's just one of those plays that you could get yourself in trouble in. If you want to attack, one side, you're feeling confident. I mean, we can look at the overs, but even then, I think you're playing with fire when you're betting on guys that are younger in the UFC careers. But over a round and a half at minus 280, if you have it in your book, is not bad. I think it's going long at over 2.5 minus 150, but I don't like betting on it. I'm not feeling it here. Personally, I'd rather sit on the sidelines. Newsom by KO plus 600, but I don't think Fernie is chinny by any means, man.
Well, there it is. The first fight. We disagree, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go, bro. I'm glad to disagree the first one back, man. If we agreed to start it off with number one, man, that would have been bad. I think we're on the way.
An awesome debate. I think we got a good one coming up because I did drop in for this week's best MMA bets. So I did hear AJ's picks. I'm gonna have a disagreement coming up here, but this wasn't a juicy one because guys, just save your money for later. This card's badass.
Let's go. First one, I am on Newsom, Mike on Garcia. We got a lot more action to talk about. Let's jump to the next fight of the night. Clayton Rodrigues versus CJ Vergara. I'll take the stage to start it off. I think Clayton Rodrigues is going to work very well from distance and with the kicking attack from range. Now, he doesn't have a reach advantage here, but with his jab to the body, I feel like he can manage some distance. I think his kicks are pretty solid. I like the speed overall. The lateral movement's good. Now, opposing him is a guy that I actually like in CJ Vergara. I think he's got a tricky boxing game with pretty good head movement and solid pressure. But when I look at more boxing heavy attack versus guys that use the 8 limbs better, I'm going to go towards the Clayton Rodrigues side. Now, if it gets to the floor, I'm interested to see how that one faces, or I guess how that fares. Or what are you thinking on this one, Mike, especially the grappling side of this fight?
That's actually the toughest one to nail down, right? I mean, we've seen Rodrigues struggle with wrestling against Santo Curatolo, and I haven't seen a ton of footage of what he's doing off of his back, but I did see him get out wrestled in that fight. And as far as the matchup overall here, I think these guys are going to strike, They both like to do that anyway. So I'm going to guess that at least most of this fight is contested on the feet. And if that's the case, we got a fun fight on our hands. Now, you have made an accusation here that my man CJ is a boxer, but he did train Pete Spratt Muay Thai. If you look at his kick defense, when somebody throws a kick at him, he's great at checking it, still stalking you, keeping that pressure forward. It reminds me a little bit of Muay Thai style. So I'm going to call it Muay Thai. You call him a boxer, but we'll see what version he comes out with. Look, when I look at Rodrigues, I see a very athletic guy, very talented, dangerous striker, good mobility. However, he likes to throw single shots. And if you just throw single kicks and single punches at Vergara, I think Vergara might put a 2-3-2 down the pipe, might slip his head, come back with a hook and with a low kick. I feel like Vergara's combinations could overcome the single shots of Rodrigues. I originally, when I wrote this one down, I wrote Vergara split decision. I think it's a close one. I'm going to disagree with you again, my brother. I'm going CJ Vergara. I think his striking will get the job done, and I don't think Rodrigues will have the grappling he would need to negate that.
I like the opposite side, the opposing pick, especially because your side is the plus money side. Plus 300 CJ Vergara. Regardless of the pick, I feel like the line is extremely wide for Clayton, who hasn't even debuted in the UFC. He's the minus 333 favorite. That's a wide-ass line. I feel like we're going longer here. Over 2.5 rounds is at minus 125. We're both thinking it's going distance. I still think it's a scary bet because it's probably stand-up. I don't want to really go after it, but if you have to go after something, over a round and a half seems like a sensible, or excuse me, over 2.5 seems like a sensible play at minus 125. But Vergara's a pretty juicy dog, Mike. You're on a nice dog, plus 300 value for him.
I think those odds are wrong. I think those odds are wrong, my brother.
I agree. I agree.
Vergara's got more in the tank than that. And
I feel like it's like if I would have saw minus 175, I wouldn't have batted an eye. When I saw the minus 400, I'm like, damn. I guess some of these guys that come in with a lot of hype off the Contender Series and then take on a guy 0-1 in the UFC, there's some, I don't know, maybe overhype on him. You might be on the right dog spot, man. You might be really grabbing a dog because there's somebody that's going to be a dog that's going to come through that's big here. And Vergara's got a live shot. I'm on Rodrigues. I'm picking him to win, but I like that you're on the Vergara dog side, bro, because plus money is what everybody wants.
We always do lock of the night. That's our category. But my dog of the night, Vergara.
Fuck yeah. Love it, bro. I love it. Should be a damn good matchup. I'm hoping they strike and go to war, man. I like this comment right here.
Yes, please.
Mike is the dog catcher.
Hey,
we got a little disagreement. We got Clayton's going to win, calling him a lock. And also some love for you, Mike, bro, from our boy Keep Out. What is up, brother? Bellator Mike, bro. I like that nickname for you, Bellator. I call you Finch, man.
Bellator Mike wishes he was in Paris right now, dude. That would have been a good trip. Czech Congo is fighting Ryan Bader tomorrow. That would have been sweet. But yes, I've been spoiled with some good Bellator fights. Good to see you guys.
Paris, France, man. That would be wild. I've always wanted to go, but I hear people get disappointed when they do go.
Well, see, the thing is, my wife has been asking me to take her to Paris to go, just do the touristy stuff, see the Eiffel Tower, go eat some freaking good food. And it's been, I was planning on it for 2020. For obvious reasons, we didn't do it in 2020. And here we are a couple of years later. It's not on the docket. So yeah, I need to get that one in the schedule. So
hey, you went to Hawaii though.
I will be going there, and I will be having some fun at some point here. I'm going to save it as a present for the wife, and she's not watching the show right now. She's on a sailboat. So Haley, don't tell my wife Haley. I'm going to get it for her eventually. We're going to Paris, and I just wish it was for a Bellator fight, guys. That's a super fun card. Yoel Romero's fighting tomorrow. I mean, but like I said, guys, I've been spoiled with Bellator fights. It's good to be back home with you.
Let's go back home with me as well, bro. I guess back home with me from a distance, man. Joining the show again. I'm glad to have you, my brother. Let's keep running up because right now we're too different. Starting it off. Let's see if this one gets things, on the same side. Ariane Carnelossi, Lupita, Godinez. Carnelossi's a beast, man. She is jacked. She's super strong, but I would call her a bit of a raw talent. Lupita Godinez is, I would say, a fairly sound wrestler, grappler, who can work her game well, even against bigger girls. I know she lost up a weight class, 25 on short notice, but her game is still pretty solid overall. And I see Carnelossi, I don't know, a little bit reckless, wild style. Granted, I don't feel like Godinez has a ton of pop in the punches. I don't see her getting a knockout of Carnelossi. So she's going to have to deal with that early chaos. I'm still going to ride the Godinez side for the win by a decision, though. And I feel like it's going to be cage grappling. Carnelossi may slow after a bit, and then the technique will prevail over the absolute specimen Carnelossi. What do you think about this one, Mike?
Carnelossi used to be a bodybuilder, right? So I
think power lifter.
Power lifter. Got it. That's where the physique comes in. I like Lupi Godinez, man. I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan. I like the pressure she puts on these girls. You know, she throws that nice loopy hook, nice loopy overhand. And, you know, I thought she did a brilliant job against little monster Vanessa Demopoulos. She was able to outbox her in the LFA, which is very hard to do. Vanessa Demopoulos, phenomenal grappler, and she was just kind of able to stifle her with her hands. What I like about this matchup for Lupi Godinez is that both of these girls are like 5'2". They're both roughly the same height, and that really helps me pick her because I don't like her striking in these, you know, where she's fighting girls with way longer reaches and who are trying to pick her apart because it's the big cage. These girls are fighting in the big cage. When you got two girls who are 5'2" and you fight in the big cage, meaning it's a pay-per-view event usually, and they're usually in Vegas. That's like, you know, fighting in the middle of a football field for some heavyweights, man. It is, you know, they could take a lot of steps to get across that cage. I think that them both being 5'2" really helps me be more reliably picking Godinez for the win. I think she showed off her wrestling really well against Silvana Gomez Juarez and then slapped on a perfect armbar from the back. I'm a fan, man. I'm going to go with her decision.
I like it, man. I think she wins the decision too. So same side there. As far as the line for this matchup, Godinez is the -167 favorite. Carnelossi, the +160 dog. I feel like it's going long. Over 2.5 rounds, -270. If you want to go Godinez, wins by a decision, you're getting +105. It's not great plus money, but it's plus money. So, you know, you take it as you can get it. I don't love betting, you know, more back end tier of women's MMA, especially with a powerhouse of Carnelossi on the other side. But what are the odds? I think low. I'd say like low chance upset here. I don't see Carnelossi even with the power getting the knockout, really. I think she's going to be like sporadic with her flurries. And I think honestly, it'll allow Godinez to lock her up, put her against the cage, work from there. Godinez decision, I think pretty confident pick. I like the plus money, +100 prop, but I don't know about playing it. Carnelossi money line's not bad either. I mean, -170 range. If you want to add somebody to a parlay, if you're willing to bet women's MMA, this is one you throw down. Godinez.
I don't like how in exchanges Carnelossi's chin comes up. If you watch that Liang fight, right, and she'll start banging a little bit and she'll start picking her chin up in the air. You know, that's what scares me about saying decision in this fight. You were saying that Godinez maybe lacks the power, but if Godinez is going to land big, I think it's Saturday night.
This could be the one if that chin's straight up, man. Definitely possible, especially with the wrestling threat. Even if Godinez is not known for the wrestling threats there, Carnelossi will open up a bit more in the feet, I think.
You got it. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun fight with these two, you know. Yeah, I think Godinez is better all around, and I think that's going to especially show when these girls start wrestling a little bit. You know, you don't usually see a lot of great Mexican wrestlers, but I do think that Godinez is going to have that advantage in this fight, and I like how she moves forward too. You know, it's important that she keeps her chin tucked and moves forward, throws those hooks and those overhands. I think they're going to land on Carnelossi.
Hey, Mexican wrestler Henry Cejudo, bro. There are some of them.
Triple C, Cain Velasquez. They're out there. They're out there. But more often than not, my Mexican friends, they like to throw their hands, you know?
They like to throw the punches. That is true as fuck, man. The culture is very boxing heavy. Definitely, I think Godinez, good side. Both of us on it for the win. Maybe a bet if you're looking for one. Mike, do you think it's an okay bet if someone throws down on this one?
I think it's within my wheelhouse, man. I do. I was watching a lot of Godinez fights and getting more comfortable with the pick. You know, it's not the best bet on this card, but it would be in my parlay.
I like it. I like it. Let's keep running. Our next bout of the night, Tracy
Woo!
Cortez and Melissa Gatto.
Good fight.
This is a great fight. I want to hear your take to start us off on this one, Mike.
I coach jiu-jitsu, all right? I love Gatto's jiu-jitsu. When I look at her in a mixed martial arts fight, it brings me joy because I see somebody who attacks all the time. How often in men's mixed martial arts do they get taken down and the guard is only defensive and they're just trying to stand back up to the feet, and while they're standing up, they're getting the wrist trapped and they're getting the single. Right? We constantly see this play out. In Gatto fights, she's on her back. She's trying to slap on arm bars, triangles. She's trying to sweep. She's trying to work. She works off of her back like you would expect to see at IBJJF or a submission-only grappling tournament. And she does that in mixed martial arts, Tony Ferguson style, maybe. That's cool to see. I love the matchup for her. I'm a Gatto fan, man. I think she's dangerous on the feet too. You know, the way she always attacks on the ground, I think, is going to be fruitful in this fight because Cortez naturally is inclined to kind of work her way in for takedowns. And when she does engage Gatto, I think Gatto is going to be the one who's attacking, Cortez defending. Maybe Cortez gets out of that first armbar, but that might turn into a triangle and a back take. And eventually Cortez is going to tap. Gatto submission.
Let's go. Gatto side. I'm glad you're on the Gatto side as well. I feel like Tracy Cortez, pretty solid, like wrestling pressure fighter. But Gatto looks good, man. And like, I mean,
I'm a fan.
For her to beat Sijara Eubanks and now she's the dog against Tracy Cortez, that caught me off guard.
Yes, me too. I could not believe the odds.
I was like, what? I was like, I think that Eubanks win is like A1. I'm going with Gatto with you, man. I don't want to jump on the sub side more out of fear of, you know, Cortez's submission defense, I guess. But dude, Gatto can do a lot from the bottom. Kickboxing is looking solid. I mean, that the front kick she landed on Sijara, probably not going to land that often and get a stoppage, but it was a fantastic kick. And I think it's a great range management tool, man. I think Melissa Gatto's going to look good. I'm a fan. I'm picking her for the win. I like her. Maybe by a decision, but I'd rather be with you on the sub side. We'll look at the odds real quick. Cortez minus 134, Gatto plus 133 as far as the prop. Let's see. Gatto wins via submission. What do you think the value of that is, man? It's plus 585 best value. Wow. It's a big line.
Dude, I think they're messing up, man. I think they're messing up. Cortez's record looks pretty. She looks pretty. You know, like all good stuff for Cortez for sure. I just feel like she's running into one of the prospects. I'm very surprised Gatto's not the favorite, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to throw down on Gatto as a dog. You know, looking through this whole card, I feel like Gatto is a dog that I want to snipe at. You know, even, you know, my other dog pick from earlier that we've talked about already was Journey. I'd rather go towards Gatto. I don't know. I feel like I would like to back the horse, man. And I think as I do the bets, it's like, you know, you really got to sit down and think, who's a fighter I want to back? Gatto, undefeated. Tracy Cortez, split decision against Justine Keesh in the last one. Justine Keesh took the loss to Deanna Bennett, and then she beat Alima Leigh McFarland, so we know her level is not bad. But I think Gatto's looking dynamic, and I go with the more dynamic fighter with you. I love the jiu-jitsu as well. Gatto for the victory. Me and you on the same side. And we're on that juicy dog side. Get your plus money on Gatto.
When you hear both of us go for the dog, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. This is not financial advice. However, I'm a fan of Gatto. I feel like, you know, people are just waking up to how skilled this woman is.
Yeah, dude. She's
dangerous, AJ.
She's dangerous, bro.
You don't see girls that dangerous usually.
No.
Like Cortez's striking is not as dangerous. Cortez's grappling is not as dangerous. Gatto is putting girls away.
Yeah, Gatto's a finisher. Let's go with Gatto. I'm excited, Mike. I'm glad that you when you said you got disagreement coming, I'm like, fuck, is it the Gatto Cortez fight? I'm glad to see this. I'm glad we're on the same side. Let's keep running, though. We got more action. Andre Fialho versus Cameron VanCamp. VanCamp has a tricky grappling game. The guy's pretty consistent with his takedowns. A lot of submission wins. I respect him on the floor. But I also respect Fialho's chances on the mat. I think the defense should be there. Is it recency bias? But I'm riding high on Fialho, man. I was impressed for him beating Miguel Baeza. Even in the loss to Michel Pereira, impressive performance. Granted, different stylistic matchup here. VanCamp, switch stance, striker, but I think really where he'll shine is the floor. A lot of fights at lightweight. Takes on Fialho, who's a fairly well-sized guy at 170. Isn't huge for the weight class. Definitely hits hard. Rips with heavy punches. I feel like the low kicks are pretty good for Fialho as well. Close range striking, solid. I mean, he was able to get Biez out of there inside of the clinch. I feel like Fialho standing up is victory. Problem is, how many takedown attempts will be thrown at him by VanCamp? I think a fair amount. I think Fialho is going to be able to defend majority. He might get taken down a couple times, but I do think he finds a way back up if he does go down. I like Fialho's chances to win the fight by KO. I'm going knockout Andre Fialho. Thinking first or second here. What do you got on this one?
Speaking of active grapplers, VanCamp has a nasty Darce. He's got a nasty front headlock game in general. He will look for the finish, but there is a power difference on the feet. Fialho coming off of that awesome knockout. I'm riding high on him too, man. I feel like Fialho's going to let his hands go in this one, come in there confident. That's what he needs. That's when he's fighting his best. I'm going to go Fialho maybe with a KO, bro. He might get that stoppage. If he doesn't and he hurts VanCamp, I'd rather see him back up. Let VanCamp back up. Let him come and box you. I don't want to see Fialho messing around with him on the ground too much. That's where he can get himself into some trouble. I think the hands are a big difference here. I'll go Fialho. Might even touch that KO.
Love it. Love it. Now, looking at the lines, I know Fialho's been a big favorite all week long, and he still is. Minus 390 for Fialho. Cameron VanCamp, plus 353. What's interesting is we have limited prop selections all week long for this fight. I'm going to quickly pull up best fight odds because fight odds is glancing across everything they have, and they only have 7 props. And I want the knockout prop, man. I've been waiting all week to talk about this knockout prop, man. Still not officially up yet here.
On a Thursday before the Saturday fight. Come on, they couldn't get it up for the freaking money line.
Dude, I'm pulling up all the stops, bro. Give me 1 second. I'm looking everywhere right now. I'm digging deep.
I got you. While we wait for AJ, guys, did you see Dave Chappelle almost get just blindsided by a fan? Did we all witness that just happen? That was freaking bizarre. You saw that, AJ?
Dude, it was bizarre, and I heard they're not pressing charges on the guy either.
Damn.
So what's that tell the next guy?
I don't know about that.
We got nothing. I can't get the knockout prop up. Damn it. They don't got it up yet. Even Bet Online, nobody has it.
It's all good, guys. The show's Moneyline. Yeah. Keep it Moneyline.
Moneyline, brother. Keep it Moneyline, my friend. Let me give you the inside distance. Fialho inside distance, minus 175. Fialho by knockout's not going to be plus. It's probably going to be minus 115. But me and Mike both liking that same side, the Fialho by knockout side. Let's go, bro.
Agreed. Too many good fights on this card to bet on, so it's not one of my top, but that'd be on the edge of a parlay. I just don't like the odds, man. Fialho is a 3-1, even 4-1. It's a little too wide.
Yeah, he's a big favorite, man. Like I see why he's a big favorite too, though. Sure. 100%. But yeah, to just money line him up, you got to throw a lot at it. It's not worth it personally on my end to money line it, but definitely potential parlay piece, prop attack with the knockout whenever it drops. Hopefully it drops. Hopefully it does.
If it drops.
If it drops. At this point, we don't know. Let's keep running up though. We got more action. We got heavyweights. Blagoy Ivanov versus Marcos Rogério de Lima. Woo! With this fight, it's like I don't love the matchup. I feel like Ivanov, he hasn't really like impressed me in the UFC, man. I don't look at any of Ivanov's performance and say, wow, that guy's the one. But he's consistently decent. He's got, a tricky ground game, definitely strong. Sambo background. He does have a bit of pop in the hand, sneaky power. It doesn't really let him go great, but he has the ability. De Lima on the other side looks more imposing. Definitely, like you look at recent wins, big knockout in the last one over Rothwell. But I mean, the fight before then, he's beaten Maurice Green by a decision. Like, let's not get sold by him touching Ben Rothwell early. I think Ivanov's the more consistent guy. He should be able to match De Lima in the grappling, and I think he'd be superior with the wrestling. I feel like he finds himself on top and maybe wears on De Lima. Later stoppage, I was kind of feeling maybe by submission. We've seen De Lima subbed in the past. De Lima's a
paper cutter, remember?
Was that an OFP, right?
Forearm in the throat, put him out.
Oh, with Romanov. Yeah. But Romanov's another level. That man's a monster. That man's a monster. I think Ivanov wins though, and he could get caught. He's been out for a while. De Lima throws 100% into every punch, but I'm gonna go Ivanov. Win, late stoppage or decision, maybe a sub. What do you think, Mike?
I disagree, but listen, Ivanov has a very clear pathway to winning this fight, and that's getting to the top position. If he could just get on top and stay on top, he's going to win this fight. Here's what happened when he did that to Derek Lewis. He took Derek Lewis down. He put Black Beast on his back, and what did Derek do? Derek threw him off like the covers in the morning getting out of bed. He had no problem getting back up to his feet. And this is a very explosive athlete in De Lima. I've seen De Lima do that as well, being on his back, boom, exploding up. If De Lima is any bit fresh, if he has any bit of energy, I do think he gets back up after being taken down in this fight. And if we look at the striking, I see a pretty significant speed snap advantage for De Lima. He's more dangerous there. Coming off of a KO win is always very good psychologically for a fighter. They feel very capable, and I think De Lima will deliver. I think he will put his hands together on Ivanov. Now, does that mean he knocks him out? Maybe. I'm kind of Humpty Dumpty on the fence about that. I wrote down decision, but look, Paysow could KO him, man. That is a absolute possibility, and I do sort of see this fight as striker versus grappler. I think that's how their strategies will play out, and it'll be who can impose their will. Will Ivanov get to the top position, or will De Lima let his hands go first?
We'll find out on Fight Night, my brother. As far as the line, we have to talk about it. You got the dog, Marco Sageria De Lima, plus 133 dog. Blagoy Ivanov, minus 140. Not one of my more, confident picks. I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines here, but over a round and a half is minus 155. Mike thinks it goes long. I kind of think it goes long. Maybe that's the stab to take, but it's going to be absolute sweat because De Lima's coming out throwing fist of fury. He hits hard.
Yeah, he hits hard. Who knocks out Ben Rothwell? Guys, that guy's fought a lot. It's pretty hard to get him out of there. If you guys remember, like, Cain Velasquez beat his brains in, and Ben's not going nowhere. So, it was pretty impressive to get Ben out of there, albeit at the end of Ben's career.
Still impressive, though. Ivanov beat him, I think, on just more of a grind-heavy decision a few years back. As far as the prop, I mean, I know you like De Lima. Let's say he gets a knockout. De Lima by KO plus 325. My side's going to be Ivanov late submission, but it's it's a wish-washy prop. It's not like you got this. Plus 555. So decent props there on either side. Fight might also go distance. So over 1.5, minus 155. Mike's on the dog, plus money with De Lima. Let's see, baby. Let's see.
I got a couple dogs in my yard this one, guys.
Sir.
I got a couple dogs out back in this card.
Let's go. Mike Finch is the true. He's the dog catcher, bro. You're gonna catch some dogs. I'm excited.
That. I've had a lot of nicknames, but dog catcher was a good one. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. Let's keep on running. Action is going to be
good fight.
Oh, phenomenal. I can't wait for this fight, man. I love the flyweight division. Isn't it crazy? A few years ago, they were talking about we're canning the division. It's one of the most exciting divisions in mixed martial arts, man.
Yeah.
I'm so happy they didn't. Can you imagine we would have never gotten Moreno?
The talent was just grassroots at the time. Brandon Moreno was in high school or some shit.
Crazy,
they had to kind of get these guys more groomed, and now they are. Now they're sprouting. Now the butterflies are emerging, from caterpillars. So I think that right now is a good time for that division. And man, these guys are great examples of it. Exciting fighters. Who doesn't love to see a Brandon Royval fight? Him throwing spinning elbows and just he gives you a little flavor of like a young Diaz brother, or like just somebody who's exciting, going for it, and that's what we're gonna get in this fight. This is gonna be one of those fun ones.
I'm so excited, bro. I want you to do the breakdown on this one, Mike. I'm curious where you're at.
Schnell's dangerous, but Schnell's fight IQ isn't the highest, and I do think Royval is not somebody to make mistakes against. I also have a friend of mine, shout out to Motaz Oscar, who, definitely has been letting everybody know on social media Brandon Royval's a problem in the gym. And, that Brandon Royval's sort of hitting his prime now. And I do think that, this matchup is just a really good one for him, man. I think Royval start hitting him with some crazy spinning back elbow or some shit on the feet, on the ground. Royval's nasty, always going for the finish. Like we said with Melissa Gatto earlier, Royval's one of those. Royval's one of those who's always hunting. I think he gets the kill in this one.
I like the hunter, bro. Yeah, I'm going with Royval too. Matt Schnell isn't a bad fighter, but he definitely puts himself in the line of fire. He'll go a little bit nuts, like with the Pantoja fight. He's sitting there going to war with him. I said this to you the last time we broke down a Schnell fight. Like, I don't like how he does that, like, look right, look left feint. Like, I don't know. Like, I love feints. Of course, they're fucking great to do. You have to. But I don't like that he kind of looks away for a second. I'm going Royval. I'm going to go submission, club and sub. I just saw somebody pop it up in the comments right here, man. Club and sub, baby. Club and sub. Shout out to my guy. Let's go, man. I'm going Royval.
It's been since 2016 that Matt Schnell has been submitted, and that was at the Ultimate Fighter Season 24 by Tim Elliott. So it's been a long time since he has been submitted. He has triangle choke victories of his own. But, yeah, I mean, it would just make sense that Royval hurts him on the feet, right? And then maybe is able to capitalize with a submission. That sort of seems to be Royval's game. Like, get you panicked, get you all worked up doing something, and then slap something on to capitalize. So while I think Royval might more so get it done with his elbows and his knees and his hands, I think eventually it will be a strangle.
Let's go, bro. Glad to hear the same side, Mike. I'm glad. As far as the lines here, they're kind of wide towards Brandon. minus 220 for Royval. Schnell plus 211. I feel like it's a violent fight. Under 2.5 rounds, minus 140. I think it's going under, probably. I don't really love the over-under, though. I'd rather just play something straight, maybe. Parlay piece up with Raw Dog. I don't know. I think an under, though. I don't know. I have this good feeling about it. You know what? Take it back. Minus 140 under 2.5 rounds. I like it. As far as Royval, KO, TKO, plus 445 if you like that. But if you're on the side of Royval by submission, plus 225, which I personally see, and Mike seems to be on the same side too.
Yeah, and it's just because the Schnell style, man. He steps on the gas pedal so hard. Sometimes you run into the wall.
Yeah, when you step on the gas, man, sometimes you run out of gas, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You might get a little tired too.
Right.
And dude, Royval's too unpredictable too. I call him, like, the way I sum up Royval, he's an unpredictable striker.
Yeah.
The guy's got a unique pattern to him, which I think is going to carry him, man. I think he's going to have a pretty successful career. I mean, he beat Kai Kara France, and now Kai's the #1 contender. A couple losses. Moreno, Pantoja, great fighters. Hard fight against Bontorin. Bontorin's a difficult matchup. I think Bontorin's the most underappreciated 125er in the UFC. For sure. For sure.
That could be right. Yeah, Bontorin's his ground game is so suffocating. He's so heavy. For people who don't train, they probably don't quite understand just how much even a 125-pound fighter, how heavy they can be to move when they're on top of you, when they use their whole body, they use their legs, they use their squeeze. He does that to people, man. He could break people down. Bontorin, you know what Rickson Gracie calls it? Invisible jiu-jitsu. You can't quite see what's happening, but the other fighter's feeling it, That's what you get with Bontorin. And yes, underrated is a good way to put it, yes.
Yeah, he really is, man. And I think Royval, though, is on the come up. He's on the up and up, and he's going to beat Matt Schnell here, as he should, and keep emerging as a contender. Royval from me and Mike, we got some agreement. Let's run to the next one. Macy, Chiasson, and Norma Dumont. Mike, I'm going to pass the floor to you on this one. It's not my favorite fight on the card. I've been kind of vocal of it, through the week. It's not my favorite fight on the card. It's not because I don't like either girl. I do. I like Macy a lot, actually. Biggest thing is this 145-pound weight class. I kind of scratch my head at, what are we doing? Is this a real weight class? It's not, though. But Dumont's fighting there and Chiasson's there. We don't have any rankings. At least give me a top 5. Can we at least get a top 5 rankings for the weight class? Come on, let's do something. I don't like this fake weight class.
Yeah, yeah, because we really need to be able to build up fights towards something. What are we fighting for, right? That's what the UFC really answers is the UFC markets their fighters as the best in the world, and so that means the champion is the best in the world. That's why all this is exciting. Who's gonna get to try to be the best in the world? Well, when you don't have a 145 champion, it makes everything pretty murky, and these just kind of turn into filler fights. So, yes, I would like to see a decision made on the 145 division. Beyond that, you have some super fights, maybe. It's fun to bring Cyborg in. It's fun to do super fights. That's why you would have a 145 division, not for Chiasson Dumont, right?
No.
That's not what we want it for.
Well, we have Nunes as the champ, technically, though. They still have Nunes as the champ.
Yeah, but she hasn't defended it in
who knows how long. Megan Anderson was the last one, right? Megan's not even in the UFC anymore, too, which makes no sense. So you're cutting the number one contender? I don't get it.
AJ, I don't have the answers. I agree with you that there's funny business going on in this weight class. I'm going to take the immortal Norma Dumont. Look, if you're getting guillotined by Rocky Pennington, you've got holes in your game, and I think Norma Dumont's going to be a better mixed martial arts fighter here. I don't think she finishes her, though. I do think this goes all 3 rounds. I'm not that hyped about this one either, but I'm going to lean Dumont, and I'm going to say that she just gets it done on the scorecards.
Yeah, I'm going Dumont by decision, too. I don't know. I'm trying to picture how this fight's even going to look. Maybe a lot of cage work for Dumont. Chiasson. I feel like Chiasson, she's so long, but I think you'll agree. She tends to come inside too much. Like, I think she would work off a nice jab. Like, I mean, she does at times, but she tends to, I don't know, get into the close distance. And against Raquel, I saw that, and I hated seeing it. I'm like, damn, like the opposite way you want to fight Raquel. You want to be as far
Rocky lives there.
Right. That's what that's why I said, I remember we broke that one down, and I think I said, like, Raquel Pennington is one of the best clinch fighters in the women's division, man. And Chiasson tried to take her there. Dumont's going to win. I think clinch fighting, control, decision, not a fight that I'm jumping up with joy about, man. I don't know. I don't like that we don't have a real division. It's just weird. I don't like this weirdness.
Chiasson should try to keep this at distance. She shouldn't, fall into the same old mistakes, because this is the big cage. They've got a lot of room to move around. And again, for these lighter fighters, it takes many, many steps to find that cage. So if she wants to keep her back off the fence and stay in the middle, she will. Does she have the fight IQ to execute that? I haven't seen evidence of that.
Yeah, let's stay on the same side here, Mike. The side of the favorite, though, because Norma Dumont is the -220 favorite, and then Chiasson about +195 as a dog. I don't even want to recommend much, but Dumont wins by a decision is Mike and I's pick. It's +115. Over 2.5 rounds, -235. I don't know if you want to attack that decision side. I don't hate it. I don't hate Dumont maybe as one of your parlay pieces, but man, fuck, man. I just sit out, relax, enjoy the fight, enjoy the festivities. That's I don't love the betting side of this.
It's not in my betting lineup. Too many good fights on this card to bet on.
Yeah, agreed, brother. Agreed. But I'm glad we're on the same side. Let's keep running up the card. I believe we have arrived at a pretty exciting matchup between Francisco Trinaldo and a guy who I think should have the edge over the 43-year-old Danny Roberts. I'll say it out the gate. I think it's like at 43 imagine in 2010, bro, if we were watching Strike Force back in the day in 2010 and you saw a 43-year-old guy fighting, you would be like, he's going to get squashed. Today, there's a lot of guys fighting into their 40s, man. It blows my mind. It really does, man. Trinaldo's a savage to be able to sit in there with these young guys. And I mean, he still competes. He didn't look good against Dwight Grant, but he still, manages to win. Danny Roberts should be able to win, man. He should be so much quicker on the feet. His stand-up game is a lot more elusive. He's faster by a clear margin. I think he's the more dynamic kickboxer. On the floor, Roberts isn't bad. Trinaldo, more like that plodding style, especially the older he's gotten. I think he's gotten a bit slower. What's his best punch? Maybe overhand? If he touches the chin with an overhand.
Sure.
I feel like Trinaldo, too, is just always going to be a tricky matchup for people because he's a southpaw as well. He's an old southpaw that's been in the game a long time. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He knows how to fight. He knows how to survive. He's very physically strong, too. But I think Danny should win, though. I feel like he gets it done by a decision, but I don't love it here.
Don't love betting on this fight at all. You were just talking about how these guys in their 40s are shocking you, man. Andrei Arlovsky is 43. He was the heavyweight champion fighting Tim Sylvia when I was in like 8th grade, bro. And he just won last Saturday. So if it's all about age, then then that wouldn't be happening. So I have to look at the fighter's skill sets a little bit here, and I think Francisco Trinaldo, better grappler, stronger physically, big power. That doesn't mean I'm picking him. I've been on the fence about this one because it is there should be a mismatch in who's in their prime, and I think Roberts is going to be. But Roberts, you could back up. Roberts is not. His weapons aren't so deadly that Francisco Trinaldo is going to have to stay off of him. I think Francisco Trinaldo will win a round of this fight. Will he win 2 out of 3? It's a tough one, guys. Do not bet on this freaking fight. I feel like just maybe disagreeing with AJ and going with Trinaldo, but my pick on paper here is Roberts' decision. Again, guys, Trinaldo very physically strong, but should be well past his prime at 44, and especially when the lighter divisions. We see light heavyweights and heavyweights age pretty gracefully. You don't normally see lighter fighters, do so well at 44.
Yeah, I think that's so true, and it's mind-boggling to see he's still here now. Roberts is actually kind of a dog, depending where you go. He's plus 100 at best value, but the lines are about minus 110 even in majority of the spots. Trinaldo, minus 110 favorite, we can say. I like the side of Danny Roberts winning a hard-fought decision, but it's not like that's the one to bet. Plus 235, Roberts wins by decision. The prop, over 2.5, minus 170. I think it could go over, but I could also see a finish here. I mean, Trinaldo hits hard, and if he lands an overhand, there could be the end of the fight. It might be over. I mean, it's definitely a chance of a stoppage. I'm going the side of Roberts with you, but it's like lackluster pick.
Yes, because we've seen ways to beat Roberts. And, if Trinaldo goes down one of those pathways, simply moving forward, I think is a really big one. Put Roberts on the back foot, make him skirt that edge of that cage, and you might be able to beat him 2 out of 3 rounds. Not the type, I can't go out and bet on Roberts. He doesn't have the reliability for something like that.
Yeah, man, he's not the horse that you want to back. Like, you know, yeah, I'm with you 100%. Let's keep running the featured prelim of the night. Randy Brown, Khaos Williams. I think this fight's going to be fantastic. Randy Brown has impressed the hell out of me with his striking improvements. The guy's looking phenomenal from range. He's very slick. Likes that low hand style, which gives him that unpredictability and like that free flowing movement. Khaos Williams isn't super technical. He's not super accurate either. But when he touches your chin, you go out. You go unconscious. He has that special knockout power that you see with certain fighters. I feel like Randy Brown is the better fighter overall as far as on paper. But the X factor is that knockout power. And Brown being knocked out a few times in the past, especially he's a thinner guy for the weight class, I feel like Khaos is going to find the chin at some point and knock him out. But Randy Brown should win the first round. I'm going Khaos by KO. But like Brown, he's good, man. I like seeing Randy Brown, his improvements. I look at the last fight. Jared Gooden, I believe, was Brown's last fight.
Good win.
And funny enough, like Khaos is kind of Jared Gooden supreme. Same height, same reach, similar build, but Khaos hits way harder. And if you're not finishing Jared Gooden, I don't think you're finishing Khaos Williams. And if you're fighting Khaos Williams for 3 rounds, there's a good chance he finds that chin eventually. I'm going win Khaos Williams by knockout, Mike.
Yeah, Vicente Luque was able to get Brown out of there, and I do think Khaos Williams will be able to do the same thing. Look, it's a tough one. It's another tough one. It's another one that I'm hesitant to bet on, but I do think that the power of Khaos Williams is significant, and all he needs is one shot, man. Like you said, Randy Brown might be controlling that fight. He might have a higher output. He might have better timing, but if you get cracked with that left hook right hand, that's pretty much all she wrote. There's a big difference in mixed martial arts from other sports. In other sports, if you score a couple touchdowns and you get up, it's very difficult for me to come back, right? In mixed martial arts, Chael Sonnen can take you down in rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As long as you slap on that triangle armbar in round 5 and he taps, that you won, right? So even if you get down 40-0, right? Just to compare it to football again, you could still come through. That's the type of fight I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see Brown start winning this fight, as you just said. We agree 100%. I think Brown is a little bit better, but when you get cracked by Khaos Williams, you wake up looking at the lights.
And I think that's what's going to happen Saturday night. Unfortunate for the Randy Brown side, because I do like Randy, man. He's been around for a long time, too. As far as the line, Randy Brown, the plus 105 dog. Khaos, the minus 120 favorite. Yeah, it makes sense that he's a dog. That X factor of the power is huge. Now, Khaos Williams wins by knockout is plus 185. I think there's a very legitimate chance that he pulls that off. Even though Brown's had recent success, like, if he gets touched up, I think he's going out. Now, I'm thinking second or third round for Khaos, but it's not a fight where I want to touch the over-unders. Over 1.5, minus 155. Under 1.5, plus 125. If I have to tell you off the cuff, I'm going to say we're going a little bit over, but it's not worth the touch because one shot from Khaos Williams, it's all it's going to take.
Versus any human on earth. But, especially somebody who... we've seen get susceptible to being put away before. Look, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think I'm just going to eat popcorn and enjoy that one as well.
Yeah, brother. This is going to be a fun one. I might throw down the knockout prop for Khaos.
Oh, shit.
Just a little bit. Light touch.
Because it's not that wide, though, AJ. Wouldn't you want to get rewarded more for that?
I do. I know I do, bro. But I'm like, fuck. I'm thinking like this. I know it's not that wide, but it's a high possibility prop. That's kind of my mindset. I'm going Khaos by KO, as are you.
I would actually think Khaos by KO is maybe more likely than Khaos decision. Kind of crazy to say. You would always think like decision's the most reliable one. But, if it goes all 3, Brown might get 2 out of 3 rounds in this one.
Yeah, if you're telling me the result at the end, it goes distance, I'm saying Randy Brown got him on a decision.
I can see that. I
want to see if Brown mixes up grappling too. Like, regardless of what happens on this fight, I'm actually very excited to see the game planning for Randy Brown because he knows the power is real too. He 100% knows. He knows that if Khaos touches you, you're going out. And Randy Brown, he's not a chinny fighter, but he's been put out before. And when you see a guy put out in the past, and then you got a big knockout artist, we're gonna find out. There's a lot to see here. I'm fucking excited, bro. This is the great featured prelim of the night, man.
Excited for it. Look, I think that's going to be a good fight, but wait until we get into these next couple. This main card is ridiculous.
Oh, it's fantastic, especially if you are an OG fan. You're going to see names that are, generations, decades of legacy. Let's jump to the main card. Guys, if you're watching and you haven't yet, please smash the hell out of the like button. Show us some love here at the Moneyline. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate everybody watching live, but also shout out to the replay gang as well. Much love for you guys. Cerrone, Lauzon, the perfect fight to come out of retirement for J-Lo. The perfect fight to maybe go towards retirement for Cowboy Cerrone. Right off into the sunset, maybe after this one. But I feel like Cowboy's going to have a hard time retiring, especially if he gets a win here. He was very emotional at media day. I don't know if you saw the interview. He was talking about like how he's fighting for his son and stuff. And he's so excited to like have him there. This is a motivated Cerrone. Lauzon's been out for a long time, but he looked so good in his last fight. Lauzon, like, he finished at the high of highs. To be honest, if not this matchup, I don't believe Lauzon would have ever came back. But the Cowboy Cerrone fight, I feel like is one you can't say no to. This is a fight of guys that have tons of performance bonuses. They've been around the UFC forever. Now, in their primes, Cowboy Cerrone was 100% the superior fighter of the two. But time has gone by. Cerrone's taken a lot of hits. Lauzon has taken time out, and he's still active in the gym. Has there been some recovery, or will ring rust be a factor? I don't think there's ring rust with Joe Lauzon, at least not significant amount. He's going to start quick and come after Cerrone early. Cowboy Cerrone is a notorious slow starter. Does Lauzon sleep him in the first? Does he land, a big shot and get the KO? It's not impossible. I'm going Cerrone for the win, though. I believe he'll weather the storm. I think Lauzon's very live in the first round. But as Cerrone gets warmed up and gets going, not too long ago, he had a competitive, semi-controversial-ish decision loss to Anthony Pettis. Look back, fighting Nico Price to a draw. Yeah, Nico Price is not top tier. He's a tricky striker, and he's at 170. I think he has more power than Lozon. I'm going Cerrone. I think he can survive here. I know the losses look bad. I know the streak is rough for him, but Cowboy Cerrone should be in a spot that he wins, but it's not a favorable pick. Like, oh yeah, bro, Cowboys are certain. Like, I'm pretty confident he wins the fight. I like the matchup for him, but I'm sitting here. I'm like, fuck, dude. Lozon's still a live dog, especially if he comes out guns blazing. I'll tell you guys, before I was film studying, and then I just first watched the Pierce fight for Lozon. I'm like, Lozon's, I was staying low. I was getting ready to jump on Lozon. But then watching Cerrone's past few, even though he hasn't looked great, I think he's still somewhat there. And I'm picking Cerrone. I'm thinking maybe even a stoppage, second or third round in a violent fight. What do you think, Mike? Tell me your side.
Give me what's the stoppage? Are we kickboxing? Are we on the ground?
I'm thinking it would be stand up, but it doesn't make sense to me. I'm thinking like he could stop Lozon, TKO in the second or third when Cerrone's on his A game. But like then I'm thinking what are the odds Cerrone is looking on his A game? We might be going distance here though. I'm going kickboxing though if there is a stoppage.
I heard you on, I believe it was this week's Best MMA Bets, talk about how you liked how Cerrone was, getting emotional and talking about how his son's going to be there at the press conference. And it seems like he's focused and he's got a purpose and meaning. I take that same exact press conference moment with Donald Cerrone up there blubbering and crying. And I think the exact opposite. I think, oh no. I think Donald Cerrone is one of the slowest starters, most nervous fighters, somebody who's a true seasonal fighter. What do I mean by that? Before anybody jumps on me, I mean in season. He fought 2 weeks ago. That's when he fights his best. He's less nervous. You give Donald Cerrone a 6-week training camp, he's going crazy every night. This shit is too much for him, bro. He's the type of guy he'd prefer 48 hours notice. That's better for Cowboy. Cowboy should focus on himself, not external things like his child in the audience. This type of stuff Donald Cerrone has been extremely honest about. That's why he's one of my favorite fighters. I got so much respect for Cowboy Cerrone, so much respect for his former team over there at Jackson Wink. But Cowboy Cerrone says it himself. He talks about the nerves he has to deal with going out there. I don't like where his head's at coming into this one. I don't like this idea like retirement fight or whatever. That's not what you want to be thinking about. And let me speak from just a little bit of experience. In my last fight, I knew it was my last fight. And that fucked with me. I don't know why in the back when you know it's your last fight, you're not focused on the martial arts. That's where your head should really be at. Joe Lozon, on the other hand, fast starter. Joe Lozon comes across just like RDA does, just like Conor McGregor did to Cowboy. And how did Cowboy perform in those fights, man? He choked, brother. It's tough to say that about a legend like Cowboy. I actually think Stephen A. Smith kind of said something like that, and like the MMA community just jumped on him and killed him because Stephen A. Smith shouldn't be talking about MMA because he doesn't know shit about MMA. But I do know shit about MMA, and I do also kind of agree that Cowboy is sort of a head case, and you never want to use these harsh words, quitter or something like this. That's not what it is. But what it is they're human beings. And when human beings are stepping into athletic activities, they still have all of the same cognitive problems with, second guessing themselves and making little silent agreements that anybody else does. And they're not video game characters. So it's really important to understand the human aspect of this. I think that thing that you thought you liked, I don't like. One more beef. Do you want to respond to that? One more beef.
I'll be honest, Mike. I don't hate what you're saying. Like I totally understand that assessment too. I'm not like, oh, absolutely, there's no chance. I'm not. Now I'm sitting here. I'm hearing your side, and I'm like, shit. You do got a point. That could be the opposite of what you want. I guess I'm taking it as this is inspiration, but then it's also, let's say he's overthinking the shit out of the kid in the audience. At the end of the day, he's got a cage fight to do.
The last thing I want to see is external factors with Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone has trouble in the RDA title fight, the McGregor fight, the spotlight fights, retirement fight. I don't want to see him have
this is a spotlight fight too. First fight on the main against Lozon legend.
He's been out for a while, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
This
that's
is
not where
scary.
Cerrone thrives. Cerrone thrives when he just had 3 fights and then a bar fight the other day he didn't talk about, you know? So, okay, the other thing you said was that you weren't sure that Lozon was the better grappler and that maybe Cowboy's a threat on the ground. I think Lozon's going to smash his ass on the ground. I think Lozon is a much better grappler. I think that he is going to be able to get to top position, rain down elbows, really fuck Cowboy up, and get a stoppage. I think he's going to strangle him. I think that on the feet, Cowboy does have a good shot. Of course, Cowboy's got nasty kicks. Cowboy said he was going to head kick him. Shit, that makes sense to me, man. Cowboy's kickboxing is excellent. Cowboy's wrestling is pretty good, too. It's just that when they're on the mat, I think Lozon has a distinct advantage, man. I think Lozon's going to get to that neck. When Lozon's on top of you, it's no games. When Donald Cerrone's on top of Lozon, I don't feel like it's a big deal. When Lozon's on top of Donald Cerrone, we're within moments of the fight finishing. I like Lozon in this one. Although he's been out as well, I'm going to go with the fast starter against the slow starter. I'm going to go with Joe Lozon, first round demolition.
Demolition, you're saying knockout or submission?
I think it's going to be a submission, but a bloody one where he gets to the top position, elbows Cerrone in the ears a couple times, and gets the neck. Look, I love Cowboy. Please understand I'm not hating on Cowboy, but fast starter versus slow starter. Cowboy's been out for a while. It's not adding up to success for Cowboy for me.
Mike, I hope you're wrong on this one as a Cowboy Cerrone guy. I hope you're wrong, bro. I really do. But I guess if Lozon had just beat Jonathan Pierce, 6 months ago, I'd be more.
Lozon's been out.
I guess but he is going to start fast. His whole game is built upon starting fast, bro.
Yeah,
definitely.
And Cerrone's is the exact opposite.
Yeah, facts.
Forrest Griffin style, right? Lose the first round and kind of come back as the fight goes on.
Which is honestly the worst way to fucking start a cage fight, man. The worst way.
Sure. One little plus, big cage. It would be nicer for Lozon to have that little phone booth to go walk Cerrone down into. At least Cerrone can kickbox for a while. He said he wanted to head kick him. I'd like to see him try to set it up. I think that's possible. You guys remember Anthony Pettis blasting Lozon with a kick and finishing him. I think that that's a possibility here. And I am a Cowboy fan as well. I would like to reiterate. So it's not that I want to see him lose. I just feel like more than likely that's what I'm seeing happen here.
Shit, man, we're on the opposite side hard here, but it's okay, Mike. It's okay. That's how we have to start it off with a disagreement. As far as the lines, Cowboy is the -170 favorite. He's my pick. Mike's pick, Joe Lozon, the +163 dog. Mike's dog catching. You're definitely gonna catch a dog, baby. You're gonna catch something,
ladies and gentlemen.
Do we think that it ends inside of the distance for certain here, Mike? Obviously not certain because the cage fight.
I think if you're betting on Cerrone, I think he's gonna kickbox him for 3 rounds, and that his most likely way would be winning a decision. It's not crazy to think that Cerrone kicks him in the temple. It's not crazy.
Okay. As far as the line is prop side, like Lozon by sub is huge plus money, +775. So if you're on Mike's side, get on that at +75. Holy shit.
Nuts.
That
line's nuts.
That line's nuts. Cerrone by KO +210, but it's like a nervous KO. Maybe he gets it. Cerrone by decision +400. This is a wild ass fight. I'm gonna sit down, enjoy. I'll see fight day. I don't have any current bets on this one. You're going Lozon by submission at +700, even though I'm on the other side, Mike, because I do respect your takes as always. That's +700 money's looking good. Like if I have to throw, like I might have to like just in case +700. Actually, I got to check now inside distance for Lozon too, because I feel like it's got to be fairly wide too. Lozon inside of the distance is +315, so it's still great plus. You got Lozon, my guy. You got Lozon confident, bro.
I do, man. I am confident in it. But with that being said, Cowboy has, like you said, reached higher heights. Cowboy has it both in their primes. I take Cowboy. I don't think that's what we'll see.
Yeah. Fuck. We're going to find out, my brother. I like the pick on that sub, though, because at +700 money.
That's nuts.
See that's your pick.
That's kind of juicy.
That's juicy as fuck. So
she's wearing a red dress with some high heels in that one, man.
That's one to take home. That's one to take home with you. Take that one. +775 for Lozon by submission, which is Mike's official pick. So if you guys are looking to attack a prop, that might be one. Let's keep running up. Let's see if we get some agreement going here on this main card, because we're starting off with none. It's Mauricio Shogun Rua versus Ovince St. Preux. Bro, you know what's interesting? I was watching Ovince St. Preux's media day, and I said, damn, it hit me. I'm like, St. Preux he's old now. Like, he looks like and the old guy. I remember watching him in 2010. I believe it was one of the early Strikeforce Challengers Series fights. He was 7-4. And I don't know why I was just a fan of Ovince St. Preux immediately. I think it was because he was really awkward. He didn't seem like he was the best technical fighter, but the guy could throw down. He definitely had power in his hands. And Shogun Rua's height, at his best, was top level. Champion of the world in multiple organizations, Pride, UFC. Dangerous as they come with this Muay Thai, but I feel like Shogun's been out of his prime for years. And Ovince St. Preux, even though he's lost fights, I'm not closing the book on OSP, especially with his style. I think he's got a style that can be, lasting into the 40s. Awkward, hits hard, doesn't have a bad chin. He was knocked out by Tanner Bozier with a great shot at 200. I mean, not 265, but heavyweight. Coming down, fighting Shogun, having the KO win the first time, I don't think it's as impressive. I don't think it's one shot in the first, 30 seconds, but I'm going Ovince St. Preux for the win, bro. I think OSP wins by KO too.
When Mauricio Shogun Rua came into the UFC, he was touted as the best fighter in the world, and Forrest Griffin rear naked choked him. And since then, you saw Rua just build himself back up. He was able to beat Lyoto Machida for the title. He has had so much phenomenal success in the UFC. But that was in 2011. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time, man. Rua has been fighting his entire life. And it's another case where my question is, where is the athlete in their overall trajectory of their career? And I believe that OSP is going to be far closer to an athletic prime than Mauricio Shogun Rua. So I must say, with extreme respect to Mauricio Shogun Rua, Shoot the Box, the whole team, everybody, Rafael Cordero, the whole squad, everybody in the Shogun umbrella, I have a ton of respect for. I'm a big fan. But if we're talking money and we're talking about betting on fights, I don't think we're getting a prime Shogun. That makes me concerned. I'm going to go with OSP by KO as well. OSP, why would OSP be able to KO Mauricio Shogun Rua? He's awkward. He's very strange to train for. A punch will come out of nowhere and land. If you hear John Jones talk about figuring OSP out, he just never could gauge by probing him exactly what he's going to do. Well, Shogun has made a career off of being able to sort of probe with his Muay Thai to find those shots. It's going to be very difficult against a awkward, unpredictable OSP. I think he runs into some big punches. I'm going to go OSP KO.
OSP by KO, both of us on it. I'm glad we agree here, Mike. As far as the line, OSP is a favorable favorite. He's minus 233. Shogun plus 211. Let's look towards some props. Ovince St. Preux to win by knockout is plus 200, and I like his chances of winning by KO. Shogun Rua has been out for a bit. His grappling is still solid. I mean, if you look at the way Paul Craig's handling these guys on the ground and you look at Shogun on the floor with him, he still was capable. Paul Craig doesn't pack the same type of punch as an OSP. He definitely doesn't have that awkwardness, man. I'm going OSP by KO with you. He's a strong favorite, but there is plus money on the knockout prop, and I think that's the most likely outcome. I mean, I'm having a hard time seeing OSP win a decision. I think he's knocking Shogun unconscious in the first round, sadly.
There's a method to get to a decision in this fight. You know, if Shogun uses what I call hangers very well, where he kind of hides behind his arms a little bit while he's doing that Muay Thai. There's a method to OSP decision here, but I agree with you, man. I think he's gonna find the chin.
Yeah,
I'm kind of rooting for Shogun Rua. Let's be honest. I've interviewed OSP. I like OSP, but Shogun Rua. Come on, man. I got that, that's nostalgia, as the old superhero, man.
Bro, Shogun Rua's right here.
Shit.
I got the Shogun Rua Pride FC fucking collector's item in the back, man. So Shogun, he's a legend, bro.
Gangsta.
Yeah, he is, bro. But we're going OSP, sadly. Let's keep running, man. We got a fucking banger. to talk about. It's Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson, the featured bout of the night. Guys, smash the likes if you're watching, and let's talk about this fantastic fight. Mike, I want to give you the floor for this matchup. The people have heard my take all week, so I want you to give yours on this one. Is it Michael Chandler getting that rhythm going, maybe back into title contention, or does Tony Ferguson, undo the 3-fight lose? Doesn't undo a 3-fight losing streak, but a win over Michael Chandler boosts Tony Ferguson right back into the upper echelons of the division. What do you like here, Mike?
I'll start by shocking you a little bit.
Okay.
I think Michael Chandler has a very high risk style. I think that Michael Chandler's fight IQ is one of the most overrated things I've ever seen. His fight IQ is atrocious. If Michael Chandler fought more intelligently, I do think that Justin Gaethje fight looks much different. I do think that Charles Oliveira fight looks much different. He throws himself into that fire. Just a lot of bravado and a lot of confidence comes from that man. It's extremely entertaining to watch him fight, but it comes at a serious price. And that price was getting lit up and knocked out by Charles Oliveira. That price comes in getting just absolutely his brains battered in by Justin Gaethje. That price could be putting himself in a Tony Ferguson submission or getting elbowed in the face. When Michael Chandler comes in and just kind of bounces in with these big power shots, a couple level changes mixed in, if that's all you come with, Tony Ferguson's toolkit is way bigger than that. Michael Chandler's the plumber who shows up to your house and all he's got is like a wrench and a plunger, and you're like, bro, I got these problems. Tony Ferguson comes in, he goes out to the truck. He's got any tool you need, bro. Tony can fight off of his back, on the fence, on top, half guard, quarter guard. Tony Ferguson has a lot more answers to a lot more situations. So I'm very, very interested to see what type of vulnerabilities Tony Ferguson is able to capitalize on from Michael Chandler. So I'm not all in on Chandler. With that being said, the theme of the day, where are they at in their career? I told you guys, or did I do it on my own channel, that Charles Oliveira was going to beat Tony Ferguson? People thought I was crazy. Charles Oliveira was like a 4-1 underdog in that fight. Sure enough, he dominated Tony Ferguson. I've been seeing since the Justin Gaethje fight examples of Tony losing a step. I've seen them in the gym. I've seen them in his interviews. As far as the stressful life he's got going on, and just listening to the mental place he's at, I don't like it. And again, it rears its head here. Ariel Helwani jumped on it like an anti-UFC thing with Tony Ferguson. I think really it's a mental health thing with Tony Ferguson, and that's with all due respect. And my family's got, my dad's got mental health issues, and it's not a joke. And I don't mean to say that, but listen, if we're talking about betting on fistfights, their mental state is very important. Tony Ferguson is not in the best place mentally. And that's why maybe this whole thing does not materialize for him. I think Tony Ferguson is a very bad matchup for Michael Chandler, but we're not getting the same guy that we got on that 11-fight win streak. I do think Michael Chandler is much closer to his prime. He's a damn pit bull in that cage. I do take Michael Chandler in this fight. I will go ahead and sign my name down for Chandler. And as far as the method, I think that Tony's pretty damn durable. It probably goes all three, but Michael Chandler's gunning for that finish. You guys know that. It would not shock me to see Chandler get that finish. Billy Barnes in the house. Does Tony try and go for the finish to prove he's still got it? Does that get him into trouble? I don't think that gets him into trouble. That's Tony's style, Billy. Tony's style is this, always throwing stuff up off his back, always making you walk into crazy elbows. He's just insane with it, man. So I think that's where Tony lives, is constantly trying to finish the fight, constantly poking at you, constantly keeping your hard drive having to deal with too much data. With that being said, Michael Chandler's going to blast him with some big shots and probably survive the 3 rounds for the decision, man. I am rooting for my guy, Tony, but I'm going to go Chandler.
Do you guys see more of a sub or TKO on the Chandler side?
No sub.
I'm going the side of Chandler decision too. I'm gonna say this, man. I think you're sleeping on his fight IQ a bit, but
Oh shit!
a
Go
little
on.
bit, just a little bit. Like there's been fights where Michael Chandler's fought smart through Bellator. I mean, he fought good
Which
against
fight?
Benson Henderson, the first one. He fought fairly smart.
Benson doesn't have a lot of power, so that's fair enough. But like you saw him approach Pitbull like that, and he got his brains
Starch.
battered.
What about Sidney Outlaw? That was a solid performance by Chandler. Smarter. It's like
Yeah.
the guys that don't get him as excited, I think, he doesn't go out and do the firefight. Tony Ferguson gets him excited, which is a little bit worrisome. Like that's something to fear, right? Is, oh shit, is he gonna go out and go nuts? I think if Chandler is to win, he could find a KO, but like, come on, man. I'm not sleeping on Tony Ferguson's durability in a 3-round fight. The guy can take incredible amounts of damage. There's just certain guys, even the head shape of Tony Ferguson. He's somebody who can take a beating. He is. And I'm going Michael Chandler by a decision. Scary pick, though. Like, it's not a sure thing 100%, but I'm going to say this. There is a bet to place on this fight that I think makes sense. Over 1.5 rounds. It's sitting at minus 165. I think this fight's going over a round and a half. I think if you have to look at something, I think that's a good one. Is it going the full distance? I'm going to say yes, Chandler wins the decision, but it's not like I'm loving betting that because Chandler by decision, I mean, the prop is nice at plus 250, but this is a fight where there's so much potential for violence. As far as the straight money line, minus 336 for Michael Chandler, plus 300 for Tony Ferguson. Mike, let's try to envision a way Tony Ferguson wins. How could you see it?
Submission. Tony Ferguson is much better on the ground. I think Michael Chandler likes to kind of jump in there. You guys remember when Fedor threw a big overhand right against Fabricio Verdum and put himself right in a triangle? Like that.
Like that? It's plus 1,300.
Jesus!
Ferguson by sub.
Jesus!
It's not impossible,
man.
man.
Chandler way too much. Guys, if I could bet that it was an exciting fight, I'd bet on Michael Chandler every time. The problem is the guy throws caution to the wind. That is not a high fight IQ. And when you're fighting somebody as dynamic and dangerous as Tony Ferguson, I'm concerned. I'm concerned
too. I think this is the people's main event, bro. I think this fight is going to be off the charts. I literally can't wait. It's the fight, like, it's Tony who gets everybody excited, and then it's Michael Chandler who also brings the excitement.
Yes.
It's so weird that we're both picking win by decision here, but this is a fight where anything could happen.
Tony's durability, I respect. With that being said, when somebody gets into their 40s, right, we never know when the last time is that we'll see that that durability go. For you guys who were Chuck Liddell fans like me, Chuck Liddell was known for having like an iron chin, this old legend of like Pele kicked him in the head and he could walk right through it. Then Chuck Liddell started getting knocked out. It's like when you get into those later years and you're a veteran like Chuck Liddell and Tony Ferguson, you never know when the last time is when we see that durability. And I'd be cautious on picking a finish on this one. If you're gonna bet, I think be safe and go money line. If you're going to bet on Ferguson, I mean, that submission looked crazy to me. I don't know. But if you're going Chandler, I think I would recommend you stick money line.
It's definitely. I would put it more, and it's not good value, but it's a parlay piece. Money lining at minus 335. It's ugly as hell, bro. Ugly as hell. He should win, but there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
I heard a little bird told me that Tony Ferguson brought in a wrestling coach and that he's been working wrestling like crazy for this fight. Whatever that means to you, you take that, but little inside info for you guys.
He said, I heard that he had his original wrestling coach in his camp.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so apparently it's not inside
info.
It
got out. Let's keep running, bro. Let's get to the co-main event. Thug Rose Namajunas versus Carlos Esparza.
Let's go.
2, the rematch. Man, if there's destiny involved, this is the time where Rose Namajunas becomes the greatest female strawweight of all time by defeating the first fighter to defeat her in the UFC in the first fight ever for the belt. How crazy is that? Esparza is the first ever champion of this division. Rose is in the conversation for the greatest in the weight class. She's avenged majority of her losses, and now she faces off with Carla once again. The concern is the Esparza wrestling. She's phenomenal with chain wrestling. Rose Namajunas has been taken down. We haven't seen her as of late, taken down and just beaten on, but I think that Esparza is going to find some takedowns in this fight. Rose Namajunas' stand-up is incredible. I mean, she has moments where she looks Matrix-like. I mean, you look at the first fight with Joanna Jacek, the first fight with Weili Zhang, incredible knockouts. Carla Esparza has the win over her a long time ago. It's going to be a different fight. I'm sitting on it, and I'm picking Rose Namajunas to win. But I do believe Carla Esparza is a live underdog. I like wrestlers. It's a lot of the time I like to pick towards the wrestling side. But at the highest level of the game, I do believe Rose Namajunas can find ways back up to the feet if she's taken down. She does have pretty good sweeps from the bottom. I think she can get back up. I don't feel like Esparza grinding her. I go back and I look at some of the fights with Esparza where she didn't look as good. The recent one, Yan Xiaonan, she destroyed her. That was an incredible performance.
Yeah.
Before that, I mean, you look at the Michelle Watterson fight, that was super competitive. That was a toss-up. You look at the fight against Marina Rodrigues, competitive bout, Esparza the winner. I think Rose Namajunas should win. I would love to see her get the finish. If she can stop Carla, that would be incredible for Rose Namajunas to turn it around and then stop Carla in their rematch. Kind of like knockout, kind of like decision, but I'm picking Thug Rose for the win. Mike, what do you think?
Thug Rose! Thug Rose! Remember, DC? Man, I think the big cage plays a factor here, AJ. I think having that big cage, letting Rose get light on her feet, she moves so well. Rose moves like a feather in the wind. She's all over that cage. And so I think it's going to be real hard for Carla Esparza to sort of track her down, I got to hang out with Mike Winklejohn, and he talks about looking down the gun at somebody. Like, you got a gun pointed and I want to put the crosshairs on the person. Very hard to put the crosshairs on Rose Namajunas. And I think that's going to serve her well against this great wrestler, Carla Esparza, who was able to get a hold of her in that first fight, who was able to take her down. That was a long time ago. Now we got multiple evolutions of Rose Namajunas. We had the Rose who had kind of some head problems, maybe lacked some confidence. Then we had Rose who, I'm the best. I'm the best. If that's the Rose we get on Saturday, I'm going with the I'm the best Rose. With that being said, Carla Esparza is in this fight. People underestimate how well she can wrestle these girls and how much stronger she is, man. When she gets a hold of Rose Namajunas' hips, she is going to be able to pull her out and put her on her back. And Rose Namajunas did get a couple takedowns against Weili that were really important for her. She can't do it this time. I don't think that'll be an option for her. I think Rose has to kickbox, has to move. Bull in the matador. If Esparza is the bull, the matador has got to just move out of the way, get the cape over here, get the cape over there. If she does that, I think Rose Namajunas will cruise to a decision. If Rose is looking for that KO, throwing too many kicks, getting them caught, standing in front of Carla Esparza, this shit could get ugly quick, man. I think Rose will fight smart. I've got confidence in her corner. And I think that, like, Chico Camus, for instance, and Pat Barry, they understand where Rose thrives, and that's that side-to-side movement. As long as she moves her feet, so this is similar to like Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, right? You saw Chuck Liddell get taken down in the first Randy Couture fight. So what did he do? He started moving laterally. He kept like pawing that left hook out there, moving side to side the whole fight. If Rose does that, I think she's going to coast through this fight with an easy win. Carla Esparza, like you said, live dog, is significantly better at wrestling. Carla Esparza in that top position is a problem. The problem I have is she needs all the takedowns. I don't think one takedown is enough for Carla Esparza. She's going to need to win 3 rounds. I don't see her doing it.
Let's go. Me and you.
Thug Rose.
Thug Rose. Decision. Thug Rose. As far as the line for Thug Rose in this one, she is the favorite. -202. Carla +186 as the live underdog. I think we're going a little bit long here. I'm scared to play the over 4.5 at -165, to be honest, because there's definitely a chance Rose could find the stoppage. I like Rose if maybe you're looking for straight money. If you want to play on Esparza, it's a live underdog. Esparza to win by decision is +265, Rose by KO +380, and then Rose by decision +170. Thug Rose is the pick. She would be the bet if you have to, and I would lean towards money line if you're throwing down, if you have to throw down.
Agreed. One thing to mention, which we did earlier, but not during this breakdown, is that Carla Esparza, is it that she's going on her honeymoon or she's getting married and going on her honeymoon right after this? We've seen this story before. It's not usually good. If you guys remember, Joanne Calderwood became Joanne Wood and had one of the worst performances of her career around then. You don't want to be thinking about how you look in your wedding pictures when you fight Rose Namajunas. Just a thought. Look, big Carla fan. I'm glad the odds makers gave her some respect here. The odds are pretty close, and that's what Esparza deserves. Watch out for the wrestling. Esparza could get a submission, by the way. I should probably mention that. But yeah, me and AJ are pretty confident with the Rose pick, right?
Thug Rose, baby.
Let's
go. Thug Rose. Let's get to the main event of the evening. It's an amazing fight. Guys, smash the likes if you're watching. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. If you're new to the channel too, keep it locked in here at MMA Experts. We're breaking down the main event. It's UFC 274, Oliveira versus Gaethje. How I see this fight, Justin Gaethje is a phenomenal puncher. His knockout power is maybe the best at 155 pounds of everybody. Definitely top line. Justin Gaethje hits like a truck. Charles Oliveira has become an extremely technical kickboxer, man. His development's been phenomenal. On the floor, special. The jiu-jitsu is special. I remember the first time I saw Charles Oliveira, and it was against Efrain Escudero, who had won the Ultimate Fighter. And I remember he's walking out, and I think he had a lollipop and like headphones and these glasses. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And when he won that fight, I said, wow, I think this guy could be special. Years of up downs. And I just kind of closed the book on Oliveira. I was like, man, I guess he was just a decent fighter, that looked really good. And then, never found it. When he moved up to 55, it took some time, but he filled into the frame. He's a champion, world champion. Coming back from getting hurt, though, in both of his title fights. Justin Gaethje hits like a truck, man. And you look at the recent ones, Oliveira dropped against Poirier, dropped against Chandler. What we like about it, though, he falls to his back. He doesn't try to get up right away. He says, come to my guard. I'm hurt, but come down. Come down with me. Nobody wants to get in the guard of Charles Oliveira. Maybe Islam, but outside of him, probably nobody at 155 pounds, at least nobody yet. Justin Gaethje has a chance to win by KO, but I think Charles Oliveira can weather the storm. Second round starts to take over. I think he can actually land some strikes on Gaethje, but I feel like what he'll want to do is find a way to get the back of Gaethje, somehow get towards the clinch, get towards the cage. If he finds that position, doesn't have to land the takedown. I don't think he will land the takedown on Justin Gaethje. I think he's going to climb to the back. I think he's going to find a way to choke him out. I think if Oliveira gets hurt and Gaethje gets overzealous, jumps on him, it's going to be good work from the guard. I think Gaethje could be submitted there. I think that if they're in the clinch against the cage, I think Gaethje could be submitted there. Any position where Charles Oliveira has some control, I think Justin Gaethje is in trouble. He's a great wrestler. He's a great striker. But Justin Gaethje is no jiu-jitsu specialist. He's not super good. There's more using it as defense. The Khabib fight, you look at that, it's hard to compare the two because Khabib was just so much better offensively with his wrestling than Charles Oliveira. I think Oliveira is going to win. I'm going to win by submission over Justin Gaethje. It's a damn scary fight, but I'm riding with Charlie Olives, man. I think he's coming to his own. I think he's beating Justin here. What do you think, Mike?
If Justin Gaethje hurts Charles Oliveira, can he even follow up? I think he has to let Charles back up. If Charles Oliveira hurts Justin Gaethje, he's going to be all over him. He's going to be looking for his neck. He's going to be elbowing him in the head. He's going to be kneeing him in the body. He's going to be right on him. That makes a huge difference, man. If you hurt Charles Oliveira and you are forced to let him off the hook, that really is going to stop this whole Justin Gaethje hits like a truck, he might knock him out thing.
Yeah.
AJ, I think Justin Gaethje hits like a minivan. I think he hits like, he's got a thump, But like, where are these one-punch KOs? Justin Gaethje sits down on his punches and hurts people with his hands. I'm not saying that. He knocked out Edson Barbosa. I mean, he's got a couple.
James Vick, that's a huge one, man.
Sure, James Vick, yes. And you know why that's so important is because I learned something last time. You know, a lot of you guys were picking Dustin Poirier. I went to war with all of you and stuck with Charles Oliveira, and I said something, though, that I regret. I said I think Charles Oliveira is a better striker. I told you that, AJ.
I think you did,
was
yeah.
wrong. Dustin Poirier was a much better boxer. And although Oliveira was better with elbows and knees, the fact that his head stays on the center line ended up being a big problem with Poirier, who can kind of weave and throw his punches up through there. He kept finding home. Justin Gaethje can do the same thing. Justin Gaethje is phenomenal with moving his head and finding those big shots. You know, I was just mimicking it in the gym today with my student, Kevin El Basri. I was bending my knees and trying to do what Justin Gaethje does. He moves his head and he punches you in the face, and he's really good at it. And I think that he will land in this fight. He will land on Charles Oliveira. If he really did hit like a truck, I'd pick him. But I don't think he's going to be able to one-punch KO Charles Oliveira. I think he'll hit him. I think Charles Oliveira might even fall down. And then we just go right back to fighting because Charles is going to sit there and Gaethje's like, I don't want to get triangled today. You know, I better stand back up. The biggest mismatch in this fight, by far, is when it hits the mat, when they're grappling. Charles Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is much different than these other guys. Islam Makhachev is going to be a problem for him. Justin Gaethje is not, man. Justin Gaethje is going to be very vulnerable in any scrambles, in any type of movement on the ground with Charles Oliveira. I'm taking Charles Oliveira via submission simply because even if he's losing this fight, even if it's playing out like all you Justin Gaethje fans are saying it will, and Justin Gaethje's bombing on him and Charles is dropping, I don't think Justin Gaethje has enough tools in his toolkit to be able to get that finish that he needs. When he goes in for the TKO and Charles Oliveira wraps him up in full guard, we're already in danger. Charles has a much better pathway to finishing this fight. I think he does it. I think he hurts Justin Gaethje with some knees and elbows in a damn dogfight where Charles is bleeding out of his nose and, you know, his lip looks like Robbie Lawler or some shit. But I do think he pulls it out, man. I think the deeper the water gets, the more likely it is that Charles Oliveira finds that submission. I think he gets it done late.
Let's go, man. Oliveira for the W for both of us here. Now, as far as the line, sub 2, which is a great prop, minus 165 money line on Oliveira. Gaethje plus 150 as the underdog. Now, the sub prop for Dumont, Charles Oliveira, it's sitting at plus 150. So it's not a massive line, but I think that's a high likelihood method of victory. If you're on Gaethje by KO, I will give you the line. It's sitting at just plus 210. So it's not super wide either. Fight ends inside of the distance. This line is minus 350. It's going to end inside the distance, man. I can't see this fight going. I will be shocked if we have this main event go distance.
What if Justin Gaethje's winning?
My decision?
How is he going to finish Charles? What is he going to do?
Well, it's got to be a flash knockout, or he hurts him. You know, Charles gets up, he hurts him again. Charles gets up, hurts him again, and then
like
it's
the
over.
Tony Ferguson fight.
Yeah, I think that's really the only way you're being, is just beating the shit out of him for an extended period of time. Because, yeah, he's not going to go to the ground. And if he does, I think that's the worst mistake he can make.
I think Justin Gaethje's number one way to win this fight is decision.
Yeah. So you think decision actually for Gaethje if he does win?
If Gaethje wins this fight, everybody's like, he's going to bomb on him and knock him out. I'm like, what's the evidence of that? Charles Oliveira is the toughest mofo I've ever seen in my life, right? He's got a chin and he's got recovery. He's in damn good shape. And can Justin Gaethje, will he even follow up? When he hurts you, you remember what Trevor Whitman was telling him? Like, go back, relax, reset, you know? That's not the type of thing you need to do to finish a Charles Oliveira. I think if Gaethje wins, it's decision.
Okay.
But you could disagree with me, but I'm just telling you what I think.
I do. I want to look at the line now.
Decision. I don't think Gaethje knocks him out.
Gaethje by decision, you want to know the line? Plus 800 if he pulled that one off. That's fucking crazy. I don't think it happens, man. Oliveira by submission is the official pick. Under 3.5 rounds, minus 220. I think we're getting a stoppage around 2, 3, 4. I'm kind of liking round 3 the most here. And I think it's going to be Oliveira by submission. I'm curious. Oliveira wins in round 3 plus 900 too, which that's a real Mystic Mac call, which I don't suggest anybody to do. Oliveira round 2 plus 600, but the line is crazy wide. Crazy. If we're going sub specifically, Oliveira wins by submission in round 3 is plus 1100. Round 2 is plus 850.
Those round picks, though, I mean, I've been
that's danger.
It was Islam Makhachev in a main event. I wish I could remember the fight, but I bet that it was going to be round 5 and he finished him in round 4. I was so mad, or maybe it was opposite. Maybe I bet 4 and it was 5. Whatever it was, it's like, be careful with those round picks, guys. We call the show Moneyline for a reason.
Let's go, baby. Oliveira, the pick from Mike Finch and I. That is the full card. We're going to get to our next segment, which is the Moneyline Lock of the Night. Moneyline Lock of the Night. My lock, Mike's lock. Mike, you were off last week, so I got to give you the stage to start us off for this Lock of the Night segment.
Thank you very much for the stage. I appreciate that. Look, I like Gatto, who's an underdog. She's a freaking beast. I love Charles Oliveira in the main event. I think he's a beast. But I'm going to walk out on a limb here. I'm walking out on this limb. And I'm saying Joe Lozon gets it done. He's going to shock all you guys. He's getting the takedown. He's getting the neck. Joe Lozon runs through Donald Cerrone and shocks all you people. That's my lock of the night.
Mike Finch with the Joe Lozon lock of the night, bro. I didn't expect that at all. Plus 160 as the underdog for the money line there. Now, as far as my money line lock of the night, it is going to be our champion of the world, Charles do Bronx Oliveira. I believe he wins by submission. I think he's going to get it done in this fight against Justin Gaethje. As far as the line for that one, sitting at about minus 165, as we just talked about. I like Oliveira. I like his chances by sub. I'll guarantee you this card is going to be fantastic. I cannot wait for Saturday. I'll be live for the entire thing. Lock it into the channel. Shoey's coming. We're doing a special. I'm doing a Shoey at 105 likes for the first one. I believe we're going to be in a 2 Shoey night. Who knows? Maybe even 3. It's a pay-per-view card. I think it's going to be off the chain. So guys, make sure to tune into that one. It's going to be a blast. Mike, it's been a pleasure chatting it up with you, my brother.
Bro, it's always good, man. And 2 shoeys on a Saturday night. AJ's getting fucked up. Let's go. Tune in, guys. I want to definitely jump in and at least jump in the comment section while you guys are live there. It is fun being back in my actual studio, and we're just going to keep the ball rolling, guys. Lots of fun fights coming up. I hope you guys love it. AJ, I saw you were breaking down some Bellator fights too. Guys, check those out tomorrow. It goes down at like 10 a.m. or something. What are you doing on 10 a.m. at Friday? If you're not working, you better be watching some fist fights. And remember, the prelims are always free on YouTube. And Saturday night, this is going to be a fun card, dude, and there's a lot of fights that are juicy bets, on throughout that whole main card. We argued about a lot of them. The prelims are fun too. I am legitimately excited for this card. I can't wait to have some fun watching it. And of course, I'll have my fight companion with AJ on.
Parlays?
I like Chandler. I like Rose Namajunas. Charles Oliveira seems a little bit risky this time around, especially since Poirier was boxing him up a little bit. But I like Charles. I like Joe Lozon. I like Gatto. That lineup right there is jumping out at me.
Go for the chalky ass parlay. We're going Gatto and we're going Raw Dog Royval. Chalky 2-fighter.
I like Royval. I should remember Royval. I should shout out Royval.
Let's go, baby. That's the parlay that I think could potentially come through for you guys if you're looking for like a safer 2-fighter play. Definitely lots of ways you can play it. I hope you guys enjoyed our breakdown this week, the 20th episode of the Moneyline. We've been killing it. People, smash the like button if you enjoy the content. Shout out to everybody who watched live. Shout out to the replay gang. If you're watching on replay, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the picks. And if you don't have anything to say, but you enjoy the content, like I've been saying, drop a W in the chat to boost that algorithm and show some love to us here at the Moneyline. Mike, you're the man, my brother.
AJ, good to be back with you. We're going to keep this ball rolling, and we're going to get some fun guests on coming up. We can't tell you anything yet, but stick with Moneyline. We'll see you guys soon.
Also, guys, make sure to check out the Finch Man, Mike Finch Show on YouTube. He's got some interviews dropping soon, so I am looking forward to hearing who you're bringing on there, too.
Let's just drop it right now. Ray Flores, the man who was the ring announcer for Mayweather-McGregor fight week all the way through up until fight night. I believe he did the prelims of that card, too. Ray Flores, an OG of boxing, an OG of MMA, the Midwest MMA announcer. I mean, all the Chicago shows had Ray out there. Ray actually was the color commentator for the XFO before I was able to come in and play that position. Ray Flores is coming on my show tomorrow. So, guys, please go ahead and check that out. We'll be dropping the Ray Flores interview tomorrow night.
Let's go, baby. Happy Cinco de Mayo as well to the people. Canelo fight weekend. Mike, give us a quick pick. Canelo or Dimitri Bivol?
Come on, brother. Canelo Alvarez is looking unstoppable until somebody's able to throw a monkey wrench into that tire. I do not see how that engine is going to have any issues running through boxers. I think you need to put Canelo at a heavyweight at this point because he's just smashing guys.
Yeah, he's going to smash some more. I got him winning a decision, though, over a game, Dimitri Bivol. I think Bivol takes some rounds. If I have to give you a Mystic Mac call, I'm saying it's 117, 111, maybe, 116, 112, win, unanimous decision. Canelo Alvarez.
Ooh, I think Canelo wants that KO, man. I'll go with Canelo Alvarez. Nice 10th, 11th round KO.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Mike, much love, my brother. People, thank you all for tuning in. We will see you all in the next one. Peace, guys.
Enjoy these ones.